Thank you. I'm Mr. Lehner and welcome back to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza as we take a look at Investigation 2.4 in Data About Us, and specifically numerical and categorical data. Now let's break this down. Think about numerical. What word do you think about when you hear the word numerical? Yeah, numbers. You think like numerical, you think numbers. So anytime we're talking about data that's numerical, it has to deal with numbers. So let's say how many push-ups you can do in a minute. That's numerical data. Or how many jumping jacks you can do in, say, 30 seconds. That's numerical data because I can define it by using a number. Categorical data, think of like categories that we have. So if I asked you what your favorite sport was or your favorite sport team, you can put that in a category. I might say like basketball is my favorite sport, or my favorite sport team I could say is the Chicago Bulls. You put those into categories, which becomes your categorical data. So we're going to take a look at some situations back here, and we're going to see, do we think it's categorical or do we think it's numerical? Let's take a look. Okay, our first one, it says, what is your height in centimeters? So if I'm thinking about this, you know what? I might not know my height in centimeters at the top of my head. I might know it in foot and inches or feet and inches, but I don't know it in centimeters. That's okay. We don't need the exact number for the answer here. I just gave you a hint. But is it categorical or is it numerical? I'm going to guess it's numerical because we're talking about a number. And it is. This would be a numerical category because we're talking about a certain number to define it. Then it says, what is your favorite musical group? So let's think. Would this be numerical? Could this be categorical? Well, if it's talking about music, you might say like, well, hopefully you're not saying country. That's not my favorite. Anything but country would be my favorite. But I'm going to say it's categorical because it's talking about specific music. So yes, this one would be categorical. Our next one, this could be tricky. It says, in which month were you born? Now, we're thinking months. So I was born in May, so I'm thinking in terms of May. Some of you might be trying to think in terms of like, well, May is the 5th month. We're just talking about the month here, not the number of the month, because you could take this kind of two different ways. So this is actually going to be categorical because we're breaking it into the month that you were born in. Okay? So, as we take a look at situations, we're going to try and define, is it a categorical situation or is it a numerical situation for representation with our data? So again, best part, it's going to be your turn. I've put some situations up here, and I'd like you at home to try and figure out whether you think it's numerical or whether you think it's categorical. And you know what? You might not even need a pencil and paper this time. So let's take a look. It says, what would you like to do as a career? What kind of transportation do you use to get to school? And then on average, how much time do you spend on homework? So we have 3 different situations. Let's take a look. What would you like to do as a career? Think about it. Does that have to deal with numerical data or categorical? So the first one, you guys are smart. You guys are way too smart out there. You're right. It is categorical, the category that you want to be in. You might say you want to be a sports athlete, an actor or actress. You might want to work in technology. You might want to be a teacher. That's a good one. Or a coach. Those are all different categories of careers that you can choose when you get older. So that would be a categorical question. It says, what kind of transportation do you use to get to school? Again, this is categorical as well. Think about it. You may have rode your bike. You may have walked. You may have gotten a bus. You may have went in a car. There's all kinds of little zip things that you guys are on these days that I don't even know what they are. But that's categorical. It's how you decided that you were going to get yourself to school. So that's a categorical one. And then our last one here, it says, on average, how much time do you spend on homework? Hopefully you're not saying this right now, giving me a 0 out there saying we don't do any homework. Hopefully you spend some time on the homework. But that is definitely going to be numerical because it's amount of time. You can measure that using a number to say, Mr. Lehner, I spent 30 minutes a night on homework, or I spent an hour each night on homework. That's going to be numerical. So as we look into and we delve into further some of this data, it's going to help us to kind of make a category. Is this numerical data or is this categorical data? And then we'll take it a step further when we actually decide to graph this out or to make comparisons between 2 numerical data or 2 categorical data. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Mr. Lehner's Math Extravaganza. And as always, we'll see you next time.